And welcome back, folks, to more Shibuya Scramble. Last time we played, we ended up on a bad end with the cats. Which, well, I'm not even going to explain it. It's too dumb. But basically, the cat suit is an android robot, something like that. Anyways, all that to say, we got a bad end and we need to fix it. Also, we're pretty much blocked here. Got bad end. Well, we probably need to unbad end a lot of things. Minarakawa's on keep out. So let's go see Aki. So what's the plot? Basically, there were 5 characters all going through going through the same timeline, doing different things, and they'll all tie in together eventually, I think. What's the jump? There we go. Minarakawa got his wallet out of his jacket to pay the driver. "Oh no," Kimazuka said, waving a hand. "Don't worry about the fare." "Huh? Why not?" "There's still plenty left over from what you paid me earlier, sir. That's what I meant by special fare." That's right, he paid Kimazuka a whole 10,000 yen for taking him to Endo Electronics earlier. But I mean, I'm not the sort of person to keep the change, as it were, Kimazuka said. Minarakawa felt a surge of pride at those words. "You're my kind of guy, Mr. Kimazuka. A man on the job can always count on Hachiro Kimazuka's taxi." The driver grinned. "Now go on, go. Thank you. I have a feeling we'll meet again." As Minarakawa entered the theater lobby, he saw a bunch of flower bouquets, patron gifts of appreciation. The taxi driver is Kane, first of the kindred. Wrong game. What was that? Oh, that's the summary of what happened so far in this timeline. So basically, going through like the abridged version, basically, there was a girl who got kidnapped, right? And the family of the girl who got kidnapped gave money to get her back, but unfortunately that was all a ruse, because they actually wanted the other sister of that family, because they're twin sisters. What's a celebrity? Well, let's find out. And basically it all has to do with a virus and an antivirus that the father of the family created the antivirus. So among the names of the senders were celebrities he recognized. The largest of the bouquets was sent by Koichi Nakamura of the secret society Chunsoft. The next largest came from Marutaro Ishihara, chipmunk voice for tidbits. Oh, guys, we're not going to do this again.
The next largest came from Matsuro Ishihara from the government organization Joy Art. Following that were those from actress Bakuro Rose, a popular scenario writer Ebuso Iponmatsu, the Hoku Buster Bus Tours Co., Limited Bus Guide Kimiko Amo, professional baseball player Masa Narikyo, the ventriloquist Shinshin, ukulele player Hawaii Matsuda, online TV critic Genzo Akitsu, and so on.
Evidently, the Wandering Angels were a pretty popular acting troupe. Well, let's find out what the Wandering Angels are.
Episode 4. Novice actor Takuya Amo, despite his nervousness, gave a credible performance as Shido as the production got underway. But as the show continued, his inexperience became apparent. He went on stage for the big wire action scene, having forgotten to attach himself to the rigging. Suzuka was quick to act, rushing on stage in an improvised rose of Assassin with Edo accent #1, and fixing a rope to Amo's back during the confusion. Continued in episode 5.
Why haven't you been working on your Japanese pronunciation? When would I use that? People were setting out pamphlets and flyers out on a nearby table. There was a palpable tension in the air. The crew seemed skittish as they went about their work. He's late, someone shouted all of a sudden. There was a man over in one corner of the lobby, railing angrily to nobody in particular. Why the hell hasn't that journalist shown up yet for the interview? Looked like he'd been waiting on Minorikawa then. What's his deal pulling this while we're this busy? Oh, sorry. Guess that's Shinosuke Orai. Orarai. I've been busy myself, Minorikawa said, keeping his composure. Trust me, I know how it goes. Huh? Who the hell are you? I'm the guy you've been waiting for, Mr. Orai. Orai? The man glared at him. It's Orai. I don't know how to say that. Orarai, he said. Anyway, I'm Minorikawa. Sorry to keep you waiting. Though really, a short wait is a small price to pay for the chance to be interviewed by me. Well, I hope you appreciate how valuable my time is. Now that you're taking it, snapped Orai. Orarai. Wow. Someone sure has a high opinion of himself, Minorikawa replied. Marched up to Orarai. Darn right I do. I'm Shinosuke Orai. The theater man got right up to in Minorikawa's face. Like anyone even cares. A jolt of tension sparked between the two men. Oh no. What is a jolt of tension? Well,
around this time, there's a similar jolt of tension between two other people, Kenji Osawa and Mamoru Tanaka.
jump! Osawa picked up his cell phone and dialed Tanaka's number. The phone rang several times. He listened grimly to the empty mechanical sound, preparing himself for disappointment. What is it? Tanaka's voice sounded coldly in Osawa's ear. The tension was electric. Osawa felt a surge of outrage. He wanted to scream, but he took a deep breath and managed to maintain control. Tanaka, where are you? Is Maria all right? Tanaka did not reply. The police told me. They said you were connected to the kidnapping. A soft chuckle came from the other end of the line. Well, the police sure do know how to do their jobs. Tanaka's tone was unapologetic. He sounded nothing like the man Osawa thought he knew so well. Why would you do this? Money? Are you having money problems? Money problems? Are you having money troubles? Money? Tanaka replied. I suppose that's part of it. Honestly, I doubt you'd understand. Do you have any idea what it's been like for me doing our research together? You're always the one who takes center stage. Punch my microphone. The fruits of our success are all yours. Even though you couldn't have done any of it without me. The more he said, the more vitriol seethed into his words. Osawa's hand trembled as he clutched the phone. The taker can never understand how it feels to be taken from. You've hoarded so many things to yourself, so I'm taking some of them back. And with that, he hung up. Hey! Tanaka? Osawa dialed the number again, but Tanaka did not pick up. Osawa racked his brain, thinking back on how Tanaka had been acting earlier that day. Had there been anything unusual? Any clue at all, no matter how small? If he could find some hint, maybe he'd be able to find Maria and Hitomi. That was it. I had been suspicious of Tanaka all along. So much so that she planted a bug on him hidden in that tie clip. Her suspicions must have been pretty strong. Wait. Osawa recalled what Kajiwara had said. But still, if she's that worried, giving a tie clip as a gift is a bit... The words had struck Osawa as odd when he first heard them. I had never given him a tie clip. His heart gave a heavy throb in his chest. It couldn't be. No, it was impossible. That article from 4-Star General Gossip crept back into his mind. The article had talked about a man I had dated before she married Osawa. That man's identity was never revealed. Could it have been Tanaka? You've hoarded so many things to yourself, so I'm taking some of them back. Tanaka's cold words took on a new depth of meaning. Osawa felt the foundations of his life begin to crumble. Were Tanaka and I accomplices in all of this? No. Wait. Just calm down. He couldn't let himself jump to conclusions. He needed to be more level-headed. Everything depended on it. If the two really were accomplices, why would I have planted a bug on Tanaka? What purpose would that serve? What could it mean? It was no use. Osawa couldn't think of how that made sense. First things first, he needed to establish what the relationship between I and Tanaka really was. Once he figured that out, he'd be able to get a better handle on the situation. Obviously, he couldn't just go and ask I directly. If she really were involved in all of this, she certainly wouldn't tell him the truth. Osawa thought back to the business card he'd tossed into the trash. He didn't relish the thought of getting help from that scavenging hyena, but now was no time to be picky. If he wasn't able to leave the house, he needed someone else to do some investigating for him. The freelance writer, Minoru Minarakawa. He was Osawa's only hope. To be continued. Oh, so to be continued on Osawa, to be continued on Maria. We just need Aki, Minarakawa, and Kano. See you next month. I beg your pardon, a woman interrupted. Mr. Orai does have a schedule to keep. And who are you, miss? Tsukuzawa, I'm the producer. Well, listen, Sue. I'm in the middle of an interview here. Please don't interrupt. What? That's how you conduct an interview? That's right. This is how I roll. Look, whatever. Orai growled. Let's just do this already. Fine by me. The two men sat down at opposite sides of a table in the lobby. But Tsukuzawa spoke up again. Mr. Orai, don't forget the meeting you have after this. Yeah, handle that, would you? Minarakawa let out a derisive snort. It's like you're holding court, he said. Do people actually hang around you with that kind of attitude? You have no right to judge my acting troupe. Minarakawa straightened up his chair, a mocking smile on his lips. Oh, so it's your acting troupe, huh? He said. Why not just play all the roles yourself? Heck, you could even be your own audience. Hi. How dare you? Orai rose to his feet and made to leave, but Tsukuzawa herded him back down to into his chair. Minarakawa continued as if he hadn't heard. Just what is it that you do anyway? He asked. Orai raised an incredulous eyebrow. You didn't know? No, why should I? You came to an interview without knowing anything about who you were interviewing. Yep. That's it, get out! Orai roared and pointed angrily towards the exit. How dare an unmannered clod like you come in here and waste my time? Hey, who's being unmannered now? I came all the way out here to hear your story, didn't I? Why don't you get out? Minarakawa pointed at the exit as well. Why the hell would I have to leave? Orai demanded. This is my house. And what is a house?
Theater jargon for the theater itself, especially the main auditorium.
Look, just get out. This time, both yelled and pointed towards the exit in unison. Tsukuzawa quickly interposed herself between them, forcing a smile. Gentlemen, please, calm down, she said, then turned to Minarakawa. You should be aware that Mr. Rai used to be a broadcast writer. Oh, what is a broadcast writer? Well...
someone who writes for television or radio programs. A great show depends not only on the actors' performances, but on the skills of the broadcast writer.
He's responsible for a lot of big hits. You don't need to mention that, Orai grumbled. Nonetheless, Tsukuzawa rattled off the names of several shows. Minorikawa did indeed recognize many of them. Mm-hmm, he murmured. So how come you're running a failing theater now? Failing? Or I went red in the face. I'm not wrong, am I? You're absolutely the rudest person I have ever met. What would a rank amateur like yourself know about theater? Orai's face was dark with rage. But Minorikawa didn't back down. Listen, this has nothing to do with how well your theater is or isn't doing, he snapped. The television world wouldn't accept you. So in order to retain your pride as an entertainer, you started doing theater. Isn't that so? Don't act like you know anything. I've staked my entire life on the theater. It seemed as if Orai might throw a punch at any moment. Sure, a city theater might seem small time compared to TV, but you get a lot more of a response from it. Response? Oh ho, now that sounds interesting. Darn right, Orai exclaimed. You can see it from up on stage. The audience, you can see their faces. Is it life lesson time? There was a passion in Orai's voice. You can really feel it. When the audience is enjoying themselves, you can feel that energy. Can't get that from doing television. Thinking back on it now, my time spent on working on TV? Let's see, what's a good analogy? It's like being handed a towel that's already damp. No, that's not right. Okay, a better analogy would be... And without further preamble, Orai began talking about his tribulations back in his broadcast writer days. Minorikawa smiled inwardly. Can you feel our energy? No. There's no chat going on. Literally dead chat. No energy. The interview ended promptly after 15 minutes. The time that had been promised. Both men emerged from it as if from a daze. Minorikawa found himself staring Orai in the face, shaking him by the hand. So, what kind of story did I just get? He asked, speaking half to himself. You heard about one man and his life, and I have to admit, that was a good interview. Thanks. You have my gratitude. With a satisfied smile, Minorikawa closed his notebook. Right? Glad to hear that, then. Orai inclined his head, looking a bit bewildered. A flustered Tsukuzawa interrupted. Mr. Minorikawa, wasn't this interview for a piece about the performance? Huh? Minorikawa blinked. It's just that you were only asking about Mr. Orai and not about the performance itself, Tsukuzawa said. Oh, I see what you mean. Actually, I came here for a piece I'm going to be writing called Where Are They Now? Washed Up Broadcast Writer Showcase. But I washed up? Orai was red in the face all over again. You bastard. How dare you? Forget everything I just told you. I do not give you my permission to use it in your magazine. It's too late. What? I've already heard your whole story. You should be grateful I'll be writing a piece on it. You bastard. With a wild look in his eyes, Orai snatched up a hammer the stage crew had left behind. Wait, go ahead, hit me. Ouch. We're going with 3. Ouch. I haven't even hit you yet. Orai waved the hammer menacingly. But the attack came to a sudden halt as the ringtone startled him out of his fury. "Hold on a moment," Minorikawa said. "I have to take this." He whipped out his cell phone. "Hello, Minorikawa speaking. This is Osawa." Wow, he called back a lot sooner than Minorikawa had expected. "Have your daughters come home then?" "No. Actually, there's a favor I'd like to ask you." "A favor?" Minorikawa thought back to his visit to the Osawa residence. The drawn curtains, the stricken look on Osawa's face. Minorikawa's instincts had sensed something significant going on. Apparently, getting the full story wasn't going to come without some cost. "A favor, huh? Is it something urgent?" "I'll pay whatever I have to. I just need you to look into something as quickly as possible." His voice had the telltale desperation of a man who'd been backed into a corner. "All right," Minorikawa said. "I can help you out for a little while." Osawa hurriedly explained what he was after. The request was a strange one. He wanted Minorikawa to look into a scandalous article that four-star general gossip had run about him in the past. "What makes this so important? Do I have to say?" "I mean, you're asking me to look into something without explaining anything." He eyed Orai, lurking nearby with obvious irritation. Minorikawa would need to calm down the erstwhile broadcast writer, or else his interview really would have been for naught. He decided to bluff both men at the same time. "Let me just say one thing," he said into the phone. He made sure he spoke loud and clear so that Orai would overhear. "I want to tell the world this story. No, I need to tell it. If I don't feel that way about something, no amount of money in the world will get me to write an article on it. That's my pride as a writer at work." Minorikawa could see Orai's aura of rage fading as he listened. The theater man looked surprised. Whew. Meanwhile, Osawa had decided to open up a bit. "All right," he said. "I can't share all the details, but..." Okay, he's in a talkative mood now. "Good job, Minorikawa. See, this is going fine. The power balance of the entire world might be at stake here," Osawa continued. "And I mean that quite literally. I can tell you more after you're done investigating." Wait, is he serious? How could the world's balance of power hinge on looking into some alleged martial affair? That was so absurd that Minorikawa had to fight the urge to burst out laughing. A person would need to be out of his mind to believe a story like that. But Minorikawa wasn't the average person. And sometimes the truth was so ridiculous, it really was stranger than fiction. Osawa wasn't lying. Minorikawa's instincts told him that much. "All right," he said. "I'll check the editing department notes from back then." Minorikawa felt his excitement building. Things were really getting interesting. For the moment, he nearly forgot Toyama and his troubles. When he ended the call, Orai approached him and extended his hand. "Listen, your methods might be a little extreme, but I can tell you take pride in your work." "Of course I do. I'm sorry for getting so worked up. I'd bet you'd write a fine article about me. So please, Mr. Minorikawa, let the world know about me and my half-lived life." Minorikawa took the offered hand and shook it. "Leave it to me. Once I'm done with it, you won't just be some washed-up nobody anymore, Mr. Orai." "It's Orai." Minorikawa grinned. Minorikawa rushed down to the theater. He completed all the interviews that he could get done before 4 o'clock. Now he had an hour left to write it all up to convince the folks from the loan company that gossip could stay afloat. Grrr! He let out a roar, psyching himself up for the final push. To be continued. All right, that's 2 of them. 3 of them. So either Aki or Kano. Are we done? No, not yet. He decided to shout a bit louder. Hey, come on, wait up! Hitomi stole a quick look back at him. Where are you going? It's not safe for us to get too separated. Still, she continued her flight towards the upper floors. Did she not realize it was him or something? Aki hurried in pursuit. Aki followed her, but by the time he reached the top, she was out of sight. Man talking on the cell phone. Already talked about that earlier. Chinese buffet. Not open. Not right now. Ate too much? There was no mistaking what he saw. Foreign men. Keep out. Ah, Maria gets bad end. And if we chase after Hitomi, and we went through this earlier. Now remember, Maria was already at her endpoint. The boys. So this obviously isn't Hitomi. This is Maria. Yeah, okay, so this is the end point. We already got that. That's the end. Maria. Now I wonder, since Kano runs into cats, if Kano runs into cats, does that mean Maria can't give her suit to this guy? Let's deal with this suit ourselves. Feel a bit guilty about having him go out of his way for me more than he has already. Maybe I should deal with it myself. Looks a bit disappointed when I tell him that. I'll leave the shop with the costume. That's adorable. But as I walk along, I start regretting my decision. I can't find a good place to throw the cat outfit away. Finally, I spot a convenience store that looks like it'll do just fine. One of the employees is out front cleaning out the trash can. Several large garbage bags line the side of the road. Perfect. Maybe I can have him toss out the costume along with everything else. Excuse me, so I've got this old cat suit here. I figure it can't hurt to ask. Yeah, I know. The shop boy takes the costume from me. What's a shop boy? Well, it's Taku Okado, a 22-year-old getting by on part-time employment. Recently, after a number of employees quit in rapid succession, the owner hurriedly took on several new hires. But for some reason, instead of everyone chipping in on the cleaning, Okado always just winds up stuck doing it. No, I'm sorry. That's been more than 20 minutes there, Deb. You're here to throw this thing out. I got it. He sounds wholly unsurprised. He accepts it so blithely? What does that mean? That I actually feel bad. It's been like this all morning, he says. I don't even care anymore. Damn. Just throw away what you need and be on your way, I guess. Been like what all morning? I'm out here cleaning and people keep dumping trash on me. First there was this couple that up and threw a garbage bag at me. Couple? Oh, it was Aki and Hitomi. The two have run into a girl called Kanan. After that, some homeless looking guy came by and took all his clothes off and left. That was Sasayama. Like just now, some chubby girl tossed out some empty cardboard boxes and a bunch of empty bottles. This must have been Shiri. She was probably drinking the burning hammer while she was walking along. So when you came by just now with this thing, I knew right away. Yep, this again. I'm sorry. It's all right. 3 times, 4 times, what's the difference? He flashes a big smile. A bright smile, but it's clearly insincere. He looks at me more closely. Huh. Aren't you the girlfriend of that dude who threw the bag of garbage at me? What? Nope, not me. Huh, guess I'm misremembering then. Well, anyways, thanks for your help with this. I give the guy a bow. Okay, so from here, we should be fine. But Kano should be different now. Ten minutes later. A man clad in black appeared on one of the monitors. The operator lined up his cursor. The comparison check confirmed that it was Al Karawan. Yes, Kano hissed, pumping his fist. It appeared that their quarry was simply walking around town, calm and composed. Kano radioed in Al Karawan's location to Kuze. All units, intercept the suspect on the double, Kuze ordered. Kano will provide guidance using the surveillance monitors. They saw Al Karawan stop in front of a cigarette vending machine. Was he waiting for someone? Sasayama reporting. I've got the eyes on the mutt. Kano's partner had evidently been nearby. I'm making the arrest. There was a note of courage in Sasayama's voice. He came into view on the monitor, walking casually. At some point, he ditched his anime nerd costume for a street dancer getup. Didn't appear that Al Karawan had noticed him yet. Bit by bit, Sasayama closed the distance. Now we already read that. I'm not reading twice. Not much further now. Kano's hand balled into a fist as he watched, and something unexpected happened. Another man came running into view right in the middle of the monitor. Another man. Well, that was Teruo Toyama. While searching for Hana at Shibuya Jijo, he was located by a duo of debt collectors and fled the scene. Hana left Jigo to find him and ran into him here in Maruyamacho. The pair are heading towards Kowendori, trying to find a place to hide. There was no sound, but they could see that the newcomer was shouting something. As Al Karawan turned to look at the man, Sasayama launched himself like a bullet from a gun. In an instant, Detective and Perk were locked in a violent scuffle right there on the street. Kano swallowed a lump in his throat as he watched the struggle unfold. Earlier in the day, Al Karawan had done a number on Sasayama, but this time the detective had the upper hand. He got a grip on Al Karawan's neck and kneed him repeatedly. Uh-oh. Al Karawan tried desperately to bring Sasayama to the ground, but Sasayama braced himself and avoided the takedown. Then he shifted his stance and took Al Karawan to the pavement with a spectacular hip throw. Oh damn, yes! Kano clapped his hands together in excitement. Catching the perp in a scarf hold, Sasayama got out his handcuffs. What is a scarf hold? Well, it's a technique in judo. It involves wrapping an arm around an opponent's neck while performing an upper body pin. Stanley, we should head to the scene, Kano said. He looked away from the monitor for a mere moment, and when he looked back, Sasayama had released his hold and crumbled to the ground. What? Panicked, Kano stared at the image of his friend. There was something jutting from Sasayama's abdomen. Zoom in, Kano cried frantically. The camera closed in on Sasayama. Now Kano could see exactly what he'd feared. Sasayama had been stabbed in the gut. Blood pooled on the pavement around him. Kano screamed, "Sasayama!" The camera showed several other detectives arriving at the scene, capturing Al Karawan before he could escape. But Sasayama lay motionless. The pool of blood around him spread further and further across the pavement. Unable to look any longer, Kano rushed from the surveillance room. Our buddy. To be continued? That was the proper way to go? What are we supposed to do now? Because we get bad end. I didn't call for the fire department. In order for Aki to avoid this disastrous fate, that girl needs to run off in a different direction. Hurry towards the bank of elevators. Well, if it isn't Tama, what a coincidence! It's Yanagashita again. I try to walk on by like I don't notice him, but it's already too late. Huh? Where'd your boyfriend go? Boyfriend? I have no clue what he's talking about. Anyways, perfect timing. Can you give me back that magazine? Nothing you're saying is making any sense. I peer at him in confusion. Once again, Yanagashita looks like he might start to cry. Don't tease me like this. I did give it to you, right? No, you didn't give me anything. I get it. You wanted that 100,000 yen all to yourself. Now you're playing dumb, is that it? No, I honestly have no idea what this is all about. By now, he's all worked up and getting red in the face. Look, you might have amnesia, but that excuse ain't gonna fly with me. The amnesia has nothing to do with it. He doesn't seem to want to believe me, no matter what I say. Come on, hurry up and give it back. Otherwise, I'm gonna start bawling here. Real loud. He's gonna cry? Seriously? This guy's a real piece of work. Well, what's it gonna be? You're gonna make a grown man cry. It would certainly be pretty embarrassing if you started sobbing now, but I can't exactly give him back a magazine I never had. The elevator door is open. Well, if it isn't our little entrepreneur, we've been looking for you. It's the two thugs from before, and there's no avoiding them this time. Oh, wait a minute. It's Asao Ozu and his underling, Yutaro Segawa, members of the Tenryu Gumi Yakuza Syndicate. Ozu is quite frightening when angry. His nickname is Ozu the Ogre, but despite his strong emotions, he is very logic-driven. Segawa is the archetypical punk who likes to get into scuffles, but he's also a really good cook. Yipes! The man dragged Mr. Yanagashita into the elevator. Save me, Tama! He grabs hold of my hand. Hey, let go of me! Right now I'm in the elevator too, and the doors are shutting. Now then, Mr. Yanagashita, the bald man, says the bald man. There's nowhere else to run. His tone is polite, but it's also foreboding. Whoa, wait, hold on. I can get you the money. I'm just about to get loads of it. Enough of your poppycock. snarls the younger guy. What is poppycock? Well, it's balderdash, claptrap, straight up nonsense. Taken from the Dutch poppycock, meaning soft dung. I really mean it this time, please. You gotta believe me. I could pay you 100,000 right now. 100,000? You're really carrying around that much, says the bald man. No, not me, the girl. The men turn to eye me in unison. She's holding on to something that's worth 100,000 yen. What? A sudden turn in the conversation has me all flustered. Tama, please, Yanagashita said. Just hand it over. I already told you, I don't know what you're talking about. The elevator stops at the first floor and the doors open. Oh, standing on the other side of the doors is the guy I ran into earlier, Honda's father. The bald-headed man snarls, Toyama! Ha ha ha. I'll just get the next one. Honda's father bolts like a startled hare. The bald man and his cronies stare after him. Now's my chance, Yanagashita hisses. He darts out of the elevator and makes a run for it. Hey, after him, shouts the bald man. After who? Him or him? Start with Toyama. The two thugs race after Hana's father. They've left me all by myself. I'm worried enough to think about going after them, but before too long, I've lost sight of them all. For a long time, I just stand there, dumbfounded, like a hurricane victim lingering in the aftermath. What a day this has been. When I finally get my wits about me, I realize I'm pretty hungry. That's right, I didn't get to eat lunch. I head for the 4th floor where the restaurants are. I really don't want to run into Yanagashita and the other guys again, so I decide to take the escalator. As I'm riding up, I hear a commotion coming from the floor below. The man's voice shouting angrily, "Out of my way, come on!" I pay the outburst no heed and let the escalator take me up. When I arrive at the 4th floor, yeah, we already did this. I'm in the mood for some Chinese food. Oh, I'm sorry, miss. I'm afraid we're not accepting any more customers. We're not really open, not just now. Why not? Well, you see, one of our other customers ate all of our food. Someone ate an entire restaurant out of food? Is that even possible? What I'm trying to say, miss, is that we're closed for the day. Go figure. Looks like Mr. Yanagashita's bad luck has rubbed off on me. I guess I'll have to look for another restaurant to... Hold up. Who's that kid? Okay, so... that's that. We already did the kid. Now let's see Aki. I think we're on the right path here. Aki took the escalator down to the 3rd floor. And there was Hitomi, standing right in the open after he'd been searching for her high and low. There you are. I thought blah, 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 blah. Lucky using hints. Hey. I want to get this going, all right? You could have figured it out yourself. You lost track of her somewhere near the elevators. What is her deal? Unsure what else he should do, he headed back down to the rendezvous point on the 2nd floor. When he arrived, he spotted Hitomi heading down the escalator ahead of him. Hitomi! Aki shouted. But his voice vanished into the noise of the crowd as she disappeared into the 1st floor. Damn it! Aki rushed down the escalator. He took the steps 2, 3, 5 at a time. Made it to the first floor and looked around. There was Hitomi about to take a different escalator back up. Why is she doing this? He waved his arms to get her attention, but she didn't notice and headed right back up. Down, up. What the heck is she thinking? Aki sped around and got on the upward escalator. Out of my way, come on! He shoved people aside as he ran up the moving stairs. But he saw no sign of Hitomi when he reached the second floor. He lost track of her completely. Oh, come on, this is ridiculous. Aki's shoulders slumped. He felt exhausted, but he kept up his search, scouring one floor after another until eventually he made it down to the second basement level. Had she grown too impatient waiting for Kanan and gone off searching for the blue minivan again? I think I can handle myself from here. He thought back to what Hitomi had said earlier. Damn it! She's not gonna be okay by herself. He pounded his fist into the wall in frustration. Please stop. That was Hitomi's voice. Hitomi? Aki moved faster than he could think. Aki, she called back. A pair of thugs had grabbed her by both arms. Aki stomped his way towards them. Get your hands off her, he shouted. Huh? What's it to you, pal? The older of the two, a middle-aged fellow, turned to Aki with a sneer. He looked familiar somehow. Hitomi shook herself free from the man and ran over to Aki. It's no use trying to act tough, buddy. We're just trying to get back what we're owed. Don't make us have to get rough with you. What you're owed? Hitomi, do you owe people money? No, I don't. They just came after me and started going on about 2 million yen. She just looked as baffled by the situation as Aki was. If you're gonna blame someone, blame your boss, the older man said. He gestured to his lackey. A feral gleam flashed in the young punk's eyes. That was the look of a man who couldn't resist dishing out a beatdown. He brought up his fists, shifted his feet, shadowboxing a few quick jabs with his left hand. It looked to Aki that this guy was an experienced boxer. Hold on, Hitomi said. What do you mean, my boss? Say what? Yanagashita. What the hell do you think? The young punk shuffled closer, fist still menacing. Then expression changed. Hey. Hold on, are you Aki Endo? Yeah, that's right. Haha! Well, ain't that lucky? Getting to throw down with you like this. The punk sounded pleased indeed. I've heard all sorts of rumors about you, you know. Let's see how true they are. Aki didn't like his chances in a straight-up fight with a trained boxer. What should he do? He'd better run for it. He had to apologize. He had to go for broke. But we're gonna get broke. He had to go for broke. His best chance was to hope for an opening to deliver a low kick. What's a low kick? Well, it's a kick using the foot or a shin to strike an opponent in the thigh just above the knee. In karate, this is known as the Gedan Mawashi Geri. Since the legs are longer than the arms, it's an effective technique against boxers. He needed to time it perfectly when his opponent took a step forward. With a loud breath, the thug shot out his left arm. Now! Aki shifted his stance and unleashed a low kick. Suddenly, the elevator doors opened right nearby. Aki and the punk stopped both stopped mid-attack. A miserable-looking older man stood in the elevator. At the sight of him, the punk's face went red with rage. You? Toyama? Going up? The man in the elevator hurriedly closed the doors. The two thugs rushed towards him, but the elevator had already begun heading back upward. Come on, after him, the older man shouted. The young punk raced up the stairs. You stay right where you are, the older fellow added, glaring at Hitomi, then followed after his lackey. Does he really think we're dumb enough to wait here? Aki, I've been looking all over for you. Hitomi gave him an angry swallow in the chest. For me? What are you talking about? We should do a right middle kick. And to a right middle kick. That's how we do it on this channel. Yeah, because you went up on another floor. Is this the anime kids have been telling me about? That's right. This is called Shibuya no Scramble. What do you mean? I went right where you said, on the second floor. Huh? This wasn't quite ending up. The second floor? What are you talking about? You went up to the third floor. No, I didn't. Wait, what? None of this makes any sense. Aki felt like his brain was getting scrambled. Title drop. Anyways, at least I found you safe and sound. Yeah. The two smiled at one another. What's with those clothes? Hitomi's new outfit was completely different from the clothes she had on earlier. I tried on a few different things, but wound up deciding on this. You tried other stuff on? Ah, okay, that explains it. At least now, things sort of made sense. It's nice to know, you know. What is your clothes? I mean, they look good on you. Thank you. Ha, wow, I'm actually blushing now. That kind of made me blush to say it. Aki and Hitomi shyly avoided each other's eyes. Oh, so, hey. Aki said, eager to change the subject. Do you still have that magazine? Oh, right, yeah. I was gonna throw it away, but I couldn't. How come? I haven't been able to find the right kind of receptacle. Newspapers and magazines are supposed to be kept separate from normal trash, right? Hitomi scanned their surroundings for a suitable bin. Wait, are you serious? Yeah. You're thinking about proper recycling now of all times? Is that weird? Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I think you might just be perfect. Aki found himself blushing even harder now. Tama! A sudden yell snapped him out of his embarrassment. The sketchy-looking fellow who given her the magazine was scampering down the stairs towards them. Great, Aki said. The weirdo's back. The man ignored him, though, and leaned in close to Hitomi. Ha ha ha! You do still have it! He snatched the magazine from Hitomi's hands. Yes! This one hasn't been scratched off yet. The man hunkered down on the floor and began scratching away at the scratch card stapled into the centerfold. Wait! Don't let him have that! Another man came swooping out of nowhere and yanked the magazine away. It was the older fellow who appeared in the elevator minutes before. You can't do that! It's mine! The sketchy-looking man clutched the newcomer. Clutched at the old newcomer. Let go! No way! I said let go! I said no way! The two were fighting right in front of the exit, keeping Aki and Hitomi from leaving. How'd you like this? The older man shouted, scratching away haphazardly at the ticket. Now it's just a worthless scrap of paper. Ah, my 100,000 yen! You mean my 100,000 yen? Then the middle-aged fellow looked down at the ticket. What are the odds? Somehow, in his random scratching, he happened to land himself a winner. Give it? No way! The two men took off, engaged in a running battle for the ticket. What was the deal with those two? I'm not sure. Aki and Hitomi could only stand there, dumbfounded. On the other hand, hey, look at the time, it's almost 3. The two headed hurriedly for the go back entrance. But just as they were nearing the doors, the shutters dropped down in front of them. Whoa! What gives? Due to maintenance, all entrances other than the main entrance on the first floor have been closed. We apologize for the inconvenience. Customers wishing to leave, please use the main entrance on the first floor. Aki glared at the loudspeaker. Looks like there was no exit through the back after all. I've got a really bad preposition about this. Preposition? You mean premonition. Hitomi had gone quicker to butt in with her corrections. Holding on to their premonitions, then, the two hurried their way up the stairwell. As Hitomi tried to head out the first floor, Aki yanked her back. Careful. What's the matter? It's that guy. Huh? Hitomi's expression stiffened. Slipping behind a nearby pillar, Aki pointed to the man with the cane, who was keenly eyeing shoppers as they came and went. Well, that bites. There's no way we're getting out with him there. Aki, Hitomi whispered in his ear. Behind us. Aki glanced back and saw the two goons walking in their direction. Uh-oh. If those two caused a scene like before, the assassin would notice them for sure. Aha! The younger punk had spotted them. Damn it, Aki thought, gritting his teeth. Beep. But then the thuggish pair let out a teensy squeak and darted off in a different direction, vanishing from view. What the heck? Aki and Hitomi watched them go, unsure what to make of that sudden retreat. Well, anyway, Aki said after a moment, now we can try to find another way out. Taking Hitomi by the hand, he headed back into the shopping area. The back entrance on the first floor, that was a no-go. The other emergency exits were also locked down, which meant that the main entrance on the first floor really was the only choke point, in or out. It was almost time for them to meet Kanan. They needed to find some way to bust out of here. The pair headed back towards the main entrance. They saw the man with the cane again, heading in their direction. They hadn't seen him yet. He hadn't seen them yet. There was no way they'd avoid him if they didn't do something quick. Guess for now, we gotta go up, Aki said to Hitomi. They started racing up the nearby escalator, which was descending from above. My bad, coming through. Sorry, please excuse us. They fought and shoved their way past the stream of people riding in the other direction. They could see the second floor now. Aki figured they'd be in the clear once they got there. Uh-oh. But then a large woman appeared at the top of the escalator heading down. She was the one who'd been in the Chinese restaurant on the 4th floor. The one who supposedly packed an entire buffet onto her belly. And she was wide enough that Aki and Hitomi would never be able to slip past her. "Hey, out of the way!" Aki shouted, but the young woman ignored him. Aki tried to push past, but he just bounced off her. They were drifting inevitably back down towards the 1st floor. It was like they were riding a conveyor belt that was delivering them right to the assassin. This was not good. If they didn't do something soon, they'd... Wait a sec. Something must have caught the assassin's eye. Aki saw him suddenly rush outside. There was no telling what had just happened, but now there was a chance to escape. Aki and Hitomi raced out the door. Outside, the man with the cane was nowhere to be seen. Looks like we're safe. Aki let out a sigh. For now. Someone said, "Keep your eyes open." It's Kanan. The sudden words made the two turn with a start. Kanan was standing right behind them. She'd gotten this close, and neither of them had noticed a thing. She moved with all the skill of an assassin. Aki felt a chill shoot through him. To be continued. Hey, you know what that means? You know what that means. A new hour beginneth. All right, so who do we start with? Osawa. Okay. I've never truly trusted anyone, not on a fundamental level. Human beings are a type of organism that I can't get a true handle on through mere surface interactions. And the very fact that I have never trusted anyone else means that, inevitably, no one else has ever trusted me. In the end, it doesn't really matter. Maybe the root of all my problems can be traced back to my heart. As he waited for Minorikawa to contact him, Osawa thought about his current crisis. Assuming Tanaka was behind the kidnapping, then he must have accomplices. And these criminals had mistakenly abducted Maria in their attempt to get the antiviral drug that was in Hitomi's blood. Maria and Hitomi were fraternal twins, but they looked similar enough to be mistaken for identical twins. Still, Tanaka would never confuse the two. The mix-up must have been made by some criminal who didn't know Maria or Hitomi personally. Insisting that Hitomi bring the ransom to the train station was obviously their solution. it had set her up for a second abduction. But piecing together this much of the kidnapper's plan only raised a different question. Why had Tanaka shown him those emails from Hitomi? Wouldn't the criminals want to keep the information like that hidden? The more Osawa thought about things, the less they made sense. Just who are my true allies and who are my foes? FOE. Mr. Osawa, the delivery has arrived for you. It was Kajiwara at the study door. Do you think he can trust Kajiwara? The Japanese Columbo? Come in. Is it a banana? Kajiwara stepped into the room and handed Osawa a letter-shaped envelope. Osawa checked the label. Calming. The official Ayakamiki fan club membership application enclosed. Requires 1,000 yen initiation fee and yearly dues of 3,000 yen. Membership grants several perks, including the opportunity to reserve concert tickets in advance of the general public. Osawa is fond of the members-only website content, which includes Ayakamiki's blog and exclusive videos. Right, he had requested the application the day he'd gotten back from overseas. Would you mind opening that? Kajiwara asked apologetically. What for? I'd just like to check the contents of any packages you received today, sir. It's possible the kidnapper may try to make contact with you by mail. Osawa opened the envelope. Inside, he found the expected application along with several postcards featuring pictures of the singer. Kajiwara peered pointedly at the postcard images. You must really like her, the detective said. And just what sort of music do you listen to then? Osawa asked, staring at one of the postcards. It was a striking photo that showed off Kamiki's expressive eyes. Let me think. Mostly classical, I suppose. Osawa raised a quizzical eyebrow. You know, Kajiwara continued, like Mozart and Chopin and the like. Well, who's Mozart? Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Amadeus? How do you say that? Austrian-born music prodigy and classical composer. Famous works include The Marriage of Figaro, The Magic Flute, Symphony No. 41, known as Jupiter Symphony. Amadeus. Chopin. Frédéric François Chopin, composer and pianist of the early Romantic era, famed as a national musician of Poland. Left behind numerous solo piano works. Famous works include his Nocturne, Op. 9, No. 2, and his Piano Sonata, No. 2. He hummed a few bars. Can't say I've ever heard of them. Are you serious? Kajiwara looked shocked. Familiar with the names, of course. I just had never had much interest in music. Oh, that's such a shame. Would you care to listen to a piece now? I suppose I may as well. Now that he brought it up, Osawa was curious to know what sort of music Kajiwara enjoyed. No thank you. Right now, Osawa preferred silence to unfamiliar music. Trying to get DMCA'd. 'd. 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 I suppose I may as well. Now that he brought it up, Osawa was curious to know what sort of music Kajiwara enjoyed. The detective pulled a digital music player out of his pocket. Here you go. Osawa slipped the attached earbuds into his ears. He heard a flow of quiet strings that was soon joined by bold, dramatic horns. As the piece continued, it grew more profound and complex, and Osawa could feel his spirit calming. He took a deep breath, then expelled it through his nostrils. It felt as if the toxic gloom that had filled him was departing with the air. Before he knew it, nearly 10 minutes had passed. What do you think? It's quite nice. The theme of this piece is, Kajiwara paused for a moment in thought. Well, it's about how erudition can be boorish. Erudition? Accumulated knowledge. I won't have that problem. The term often connotes an advanced and or esoteric understanding. Displaying a moderate amount can impress others, but pompously flaunting it is bound to put them off. Thank you. If I hadn't met you, I would have never discovered this piece. He spoke the words unthinkingly, with unaccustomed frankness. Was this the power of music then? I'm very happy to hear that, sir. Osawa gazed at one of the postcards as he let himself be drawn back into the music. Aya was scooping up handfuls of mystical blue sand. The grains dripped from her fingertips. I feel like I could be in this photo here, Osawa muttered. Like I've lived my life letting so many things slip through my fingers. Kajiwara thought for a moment before responding. I think anyone who's worked hard to accomplish something and focused for a long time on that one thing is susceptible to those kinds of feelings. Accomplishing something means getting results. That's not where my problem is. Osawa removed the headphones and gave back the music player. You told me not to hide things from you, right? Kajiwara nodded silently. Then allow me to speak frankly. Leaning back heavily into his chair, Osawa took another deep, slow breath. I'm anxious. So anxious that it's almost crushing me. Given the circumstances, sir, that's almost No! Osawa spoke up before Kajiwara could finish. It's not that. It's not that at all. He shook his head vigorously. If the worst should happen to my daughter, how am I gonna feel, I wonder? I'm not a man with a wide range of emotions. My heart is always cold, somehow. And the truth is, I've wanted it to be that way. Which is why, if I do lose my daughter, my heart might remain unmoved. I may not even be able to feel a father's sorrow. That's what I'm anxious about. Just like Lucky? Hey, shut up. He felt his emotions twist inside of him in a way that was utterly confusing. For perhaps the first time in his life, he realized how fickle a thing the human heart can be. It's all right, sir. Kajiwara flashed him a carefree smile. What's all right? People who really have cold hearts don't worry about that sort of thing. The detective held out his music player again. Here, I'd like you to have this. Please, give it another listen if you like. I think it might help you calm your nerves. Osawa took the offered device. He had dared to open up to Kajiwara just a little, and to his own surprise, he felt grateful for it. And how about one of these? It's the banana. How about one of these as well? Yes! The detective produced a banana from his pocket. I'm fine, thanks. Are you sure? I'm sure. Oh, all right. I guess I'll take it. Osawa spoke irritably. Then his expression softened a little. You know, you've been getting on my nerves all day. Really. And here I thought I've been doing what I could to soothe your spirits, Mr. Osawa. It's actually been a real long time since I've yelled at anyone quite so much. As the words left his lips, Osawa found himself thinking back to one particular rainy day. Maria had been in fifth grade at the time. Osawa was standing in his daughter's room. In his hands, he held the letter she left behind. He happened to glance out the window and saw Maria walking along, soaked from head to toe. In an instant, Osawa was consumed with rage. Maria had left a note. It read, "Dad, you only pay attention to Hitomi. You're too busy with work to play with me, so I'm running away from home." Struck by an impulse he didn't quite understand, he ran from the room, heading for the front door. Maria had just gone back inside. Osawa met her silently in the entryway. Wet strands of hair clung to the girl's forehead as she looked up at her father with a bitter glare. "You don't care what happens to me, do you?" He slapped. How could he slap? Impulsively, he slapped her face. Maria's cheek turned red and tears welled up in her eyes. Osawa's anger transformed abruptly into guilt. How hard did you slap? He gazed down at the palm of his hand and saw a tiny spot of blood. He was shocked by the recognition of what he had just done. And then he was afraid. Siren soundboard? I hope this is the right one. There you go. Afraid that his daughter could bring such raw emotion out of him and make him do something so thoughtless. Is something wrong, Mr. Osawa? Kajiwara was leaning in, looking concerned. Osawa came back into the moment with a start and realized he had buried his face in his hands. "No," he muttered, looking up. "Just getting angry, yelling at people. I'm not good with that sort of thing. I don't like it." It has to last for 20 minutes? No. You can't be real. That's the deal? Let me look that up. Well, it says max duration, but you know. Didn't say min duration, you know what I mean? Well, getting angry and yelling at people, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's just human. It's human to do those kinds of things. I often said that he was cold and mechanical. Her sarcasm only underlined the fact that he'd always lived with, that he didn't know how to conduct himself like a human being. If you get angry, you show it. Oh, I don't know about that. If you get sad, you show it. Oh, I don't know about that. It's human nature to let other people know that what we're feeling, after all. But what if doing that hurts the other person? That's when you apologize, sir. Ah. It occurred to... And at that point, Osawa the android finally learned how to become a little more human. I'd like to redeem Jamaican... No, there is no No. You got your soundboard. That's all you get. Do you want to see emotion? You want to see me get mad? It occurred to Osawa that he never tried to tell anyone how he felt before. Never felt the need to. And yet right now, he suddenly felt that if his daughters were to appear before him, he might blurt out everything he'd ever left unsaid. The rage cam when? Never. Never. It was a terrifying thought. Darling? I opened the door and stepped into the room. The detectives are asking for you. It seems there have been a development. We'll be right there. Osawa and Kajiwara hurried out of the room. Before the news was shared with the Osawas, the members of the investigation team quietly briefed Detective Kajiwara. Osawa and I sat on the sofa on the far side of the room watching. I could see Kajiwara go pale. He wiped the sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief several times. Bad news, Osawa thought. Mr. Osawa, ma'am? Kajiwara shuffled his way over to them at last. We just got word from headquarters. He hesitated ominously. Osawa braced himself. Please, let's hear it. First, about your daughter Hitomi. Kajiwara's expression was grim. The body of a young man named Aki Endo was discovered near Shibuya Station. The name meant nothing to Osawa. In a building not too far from the scene, the detective swallowed. Your daughter Hitomi was found dead. The world began to shake. Osawa staggered, reeling with sudden, nauseating vertigo. No, it's not possible. After that, your daughter Maria. The words blurred together. He could no longer comprehend what he was hearing. Everything was wobbling, shuddering, distorting. Hitomi was dead? Hitomi? Those words, Osawa's whole world went dark, as if someone had just yanked the curtains closed. Bad end. Hitomi's dead. Oh damn, that's the whole hour, eh? All right, who next? Banana's fault. Kano? Minabakawa? Maria. Oh yeah, she was about to get shot. Wait, hold on. Is my name Hitomi Osawa? At my shout, the man with the cane hesitates, his finger on the trigger. What do you mean by that? The barrel of the gun is still aimed squarely at my head. I mean exactly what I said. Is my name Hitomi Osawa? I don't know who I am. You're trying to play games with me. No, I'm not playing games with anyone, I swear. I'm utterly desperate now. Getting killed is one thing, but who wants to die without even knowing who they are? Tell me, am I Hitomi Osawa or not? The man gives me a good hard look. Damn it, I wonder. He continues to study me along the barrel of the gun. Tell me what you know. That's an order, not a request. What I know about what? Look, I have amnesia. I quickly summarize what's happened to me since I woke up in that storehouse. Man listens intently, never taking his eyes off me. I see. So that's what's going on then. Once I'm done with my story, the man with the cane sits down on an empty soda crate. Seems he believes me at any rate. That's a relief, if nothing else. So then, am I Hitomi Osawa? No. Then who is Hitomi Osawa? Is she someone who looks like me? Shut your mouth, the man spits. Just be quiet. His expression is vacant. What am I gonna do? He mutters to himself. If I'm not Hitomi Osawa, does that mean you don't have any business with me? Seems so. In that case, can I go? The assassin doesn't answer. Oh boy, he's got that trigger finger. He lets his pistol hang limp in his hand, the muzzle dropping to point at the ground. Doesn't look like he wants to kill me anymore, but it doesn't look like he'll just let me go quietly either. I remain motionless, waiting for an opportunity to run away. I need to do something about that gun he has and make a run for it. I feel like A is the right answer, yeah. He's got no reason to kill you, but then again, I might not make it in time. The man murmurs to himself under his breath. I'm making in time for what? I'm curious now, but this is hardly the time or place to try to find out more. I've learned for certain that I'm not Hitomi Osawa, which basically tells me nothing. I'm right back to square one on figuring out who I am. The assassin has gone quiet, sitting on a pile of crates. He seems lost in thought. Still, I don't try to get away. All I can do is stand and wait and mull over on my own situation. So who am I? I asked myself again and again. I am. Thou art I. Oh, he said the thing. No, I have no business with you, the man finally says. Go. Don't worry. I won't follow you. I wonder if I can believe him. Maybe he's just trying to get me off my guard so he can shoot me in the back. Don't go to the police or go back home, he continues. Lay low by yourself somewhere for a while. How long is a while? Until around sundown. This should be all over by then. It'll all be over. I have no idea what it is, but I decide not to pry in case he decides to change his mind. Okay, I'm going to run away now. Sure. I take a slow step backward. I'm starting to turn away when he speaks up again. Before you go, I need to tell you one more thing. What's that? When you get your memories back, I'm sure you're gonna hate me, and so I apologize in advance. Of course, I have no idea what he's talking about, but it makes me even more uneasy. I truly am sorry. I've got no response for that, so I just give the man one last look before I turn and run. I decide to look for some place to hide out for a while, as the gunman suggested. But since I don't really know my left from my right in this town, it's easier said than done. Before I realize it, I have made my way back to the knick-knack shop where I bought the necklace. Maybe I could hide out in here? As I contemplate that possibility, I hear an all too familiar voice. Tama, Tama, Tama! There's Mr. Yanagishita on the floor of the shop. He's been tied up with some rope. What happened, boss? Look, this is all... I was framed. Now, whatever happened, I'm pretty sure it was all his fault. Just call it a hunch. He says I'm a thief. Well, I say he's the thief for selling stuff he finds around town. Hey! The sales clerk steps into view, scowling. Now, what are you implying? What in the world is going on here? I haven't the foggiest. Tama, help me, please. Yanagishita kicks and squirms like a hyperactive child. Do you know this man? The sales clerk asks. No, well, I mean, sorta. He's a real pain. He's been making a scene like this for as long as he's been here. I find it hard to imagine a worse way to interfere with someone's business. I hate to ask, the clerk continues, but could you take him to the police for me? The police? Yeah. Oh, well, the police... The gunman did specifically warn me not to go to them. I feel no loyalty to that killer, but I'm reluctant to antagonize him. And for some reason, I can't explain, I have a strong sense that going to the police right now is a bad move. Oh. But Mr. Yanagishita isn't privy to my thoughts, and he looks up at me with a hopeful gleam in his eye. Yeah, that'll work. Tama can take me to the police. He's all bloodied up. And then we can all put this behind us. All's well that ends well, right? Well, sure. Feeling like I have no choice, I leave the shop with him. Yeah, it's not clear what her shirt is. Okay, Mr. Yanagishita says excitedly as soon as we're out of earshot. Now let's go find Chiri. Huh? Aren't we going to the pole? What? No, we're not really gonna go. Oh man, I'm so glad you showed up, Tama. Can we get a close-up of the t-shirt? Not really, no. Now come on, let's go find Chiri. From the big grin on his face, I have an inkling of what's coming up next. You've got another get-rich-quick scheme, haven't you? Goodness, Tama, you can see right through me. It's not that difficult. It's practically written all over your face, boss. But Mr. Yanagishita isn't really listening. He's too full of enthusiasm. How much more of this game is there? We're on hour 3 to 4, and I think it goes up to 8. So, yeah. This time I got a line on 10 million yen. Come on, let's go make ourselves stinking rich. He punctuates his grand announcement by pointing fervently at some non-existent listener. You guys don't exist. Several weeks later. Iron Stomach, a celebration of truly astonishing appetites. When the mighty stomach, what was that? I stand with Cheery on the winner's podium. The cheers and applause are deafening when the master of ceremonies makes the announcement. Okay, let's read that. Iron Stomach, a celebration of truly astonishing appetites. When the mighty stomach triumphs over the endless cavalcade of icebergs, the hero shall be blessed with fame and fortune. Cheery is the champion. She laughs with delight as she holds up the trophy that signifies her 10 million yen win. And me? I got runner-up. I wasn't too into the idea at first, but after giving it a shot, I found that professional gluttony kind of grows on you. Even I was surprised by how much I could eat, and I had to admit, it felt kind of good. My memory still hasn't come back, but that doesn't matter anymore. I found myself a new purpose. To steal Cheery's spot on the throne. That right there is now my greatest goal in life. Is that really a bad end? Is that really a bad end? A best end, yeah, exactly. She's got a goal. The rich. You can end the playthrough now. I guess so. All right, we have a choice between Aki, Kano, and Inuakawa. Remember when Kano had a wife and kids? Yeah, and was living on a farm. That was a bad end. Oh. So Inuakawa was first. Wait a second. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. Inuakawa stopped and let out a cry of frustration. Daisuke Endo had asked him for a favor after their interview was done. He promised to tell the Wandering Angels that the dry ice machine they purchased was defective. Who's the Wandering Angels? Well, Episode 5. At last, the climax of the play drew near. There was a whole string of troubles, but the cast soldiered on, and it looked like things were gonna end all right. Then, backstage, Bando noticed that the dry ice machine was acting strangely. Even after it had been turned off, the machine continued to churn out even more dry ice. The producer, Tsukuzawa, demanded that the defective machine be returned immediately. And so, Tokuzaka, Bando, and Amo loaded it into their vehicle and left the theater. Well, darn. That had completely slipped his mind. If you recalled correctly, the issue was once the machine started making dry ice, it would never stop. If he ran back to the theater now, he'd lose about 10 minutes. Inuakawa checked his wristwatch. The loan people would be coming by the editing office before too long. He needed to prove to them that the next month's issue of 4-Star General Gossip was well underway, or else they would refuse to wait any longer for repayment. The opposite of lucky. I don't produce dry ice at all. And even if I did, I would stop. And to do that, he needed to fill a minimum of 6 of the 12 remaining blank pages. He couldn't afford to waste even a single second. This was an awkward position to be in. He needed to keep his promise to Endo, but he also needed to spend his time wisely. Guess I don't have a choice. There was nothing he could do about having forgotten. He hurried on to the cafe. He had agreed to take on responsibility. He headed back to the theater. B? All right. When he got there, he flagged down the first guy he saw to tell him about the dry ice machine. Hey, make sure to remember what I'm about to tell you, okay? The dry ice machine is broken. The man stared back at him blankly, but Minorikawa just forged ahead. Got it? The dry ice machine is broken. It needs to go back to the electronics store. Make sure you let the folks in charge here know. His obligation met, he hurried back to the cafe to get back to work on his copy. Along the way, he caught the sight of a young couple running. They seemed like an odd pair. The girl looked prim and proper, while the boy struck him as a bit thuggish. Was that really the right choice? I don't know. We'll find out. In fact, the boy's clothing was very much in the style worn by Shibuya street gangs. Maybe he'd know something about SOS. Hurrying to cross their path, Minorikawa called out to the pair. Hey man, mind if I ask you something? Have you heard of SOS? The pair stopped, eyeing him wearily. The young man spoke. Yeah, why do you ask? Do you happen to be a member yourself? No, not anymore. If the kid had been part of the group, he ought to be able to provide some background anyhow. Minorikawa took a step closer to the couple, formulating his next question, but they didn't stick around to hear it. Let's go, the young man said, and a moment later, he and the girl were running away. Hey! But the pair paid him no heed. In a moment, they had vanished down an alley. The story about SOS would have to wait till later then. Oh, maybe because he runs into Aki now. That's going to come into play later on. Minorikawa hurried into the cafe. Wasting no time, he sat down and plugged his laptop into the nearest power outlet. Minorikawa. He plunked himself down on the floor and hit the computer's power switch. The waitress gave him a disapproving look. Sir, I'm afraid you can't sit there. Well, it looks like your tables are full. I'll make do here. Well, being able to make do isn't really the issue. I'll have a coffee, please. Just do whatever you want. The waitress turned away and stared vacantly up at the ceiling. How is he not banned yet? Yeah, really. You know, a person can only get away with being obnoxious for so long. Sooner or later, someone's likely to call the police. Minorikawa looked up from his work, startled to see the Burning Hammer salesman standing over him. You, Mr. Yanagishita. Thank you so much for stopping by earlier. Are you going to write your article here? Yanagishita eyed Minorikawa's computer. Oh, that's the latest model, isn't it? Look, I've got no time to talk right now. Minorikawa opened the file with his half-written copy. Oh, what's this? Chaos at bogus weight loss drink sales demo. Yanagashita read the copy out loud. The organizer, Junichi Yanagashita, didn't merely have a whiff of deceit about him. His breath also stunk. Sounds good. Sounds good? Minorukawa asked. I wanted to make sure I gave an accurate impression. Oh, I love what you've done with it. This is a great copy, fantastic. Yanagashita turned to look at him with a manic grin. Yeah, isn't it? In a flash, Yanagashita's face went from grinning to livid. Like hell it is! You think I'm just gonna let you write something like that? Snatching up the computer, Yanagashita bolted out of the cafe. Hey, get back here! Minorukawa leapt to his feet and rushed off in pursuit. As he sprinted madly along, Yanagashita turned down a narrow alley. Minorukawa stayed close behind, desperate not to lose sight of him. His quarry began to weave his way through the back alleys of Shibuya. This guy clearly knew his way around town. By Miyashita Park, they zipped up into a pedestrian bridge. Just where the heck was this idiot going? He's gonna throw the computer into the overpass. Halfway across the overpass, Yanagashita suddenly stopped. Confused, Minorukawa stopped as well. You have that back, he called. The next moment, Yanagashita flashed a mocking grin and dangled the laptop over the railing. Uh-oh. Minorukawa lunged toward him, but it was already too late. The laptop left Yanagashita's hand and went spinning down through the air. Then, as the two men struggled, Yanagashita himself toppled over the railing. Without hesitating, Minorukawa jumped down as well. Oh my god! Whoa! Wah! Minorukawa landed hard. As he struggled to regain his breath, he looked around and saw Yanagashita beside him. Incredibly, the laptop was safe in the charlatan's grasp. Apparently, he'd somehow managed to catch it in midair. Before Minorukawa could be too relieved, however, Yanagashita got to his feet and took off running again. Get back here, you little weasel! I don't think so. This Yanagashita guy was infuriating. That, and he was really fast. Minorukawa considered himself a decent runner, but he couldn't manage to gain on Yanagashita. If running away was a competitive sport, this guy would be a world-class superstar. As he ran along, a peculiar thought occurred to him. Hold on a minute. If he hates my copy that much, shouldn't he have wanted my computer to break? Why did he go out of his way to catch it like that? It made no sense at all. Hey! Minorukawa shouted between gasping breaths. What are you planning to do with my laptop? Yanagashita glanced back at him. I'm gonna sell it. Sorry about this. What? Minorukawa was taken aback. Consider it compensation for defamation of character. What is defamation of character? In the civil sense, it's the act of unlawfully damaging another person's character or reputation in the public eye. In the criminal sense, the act of disseminating damaging facts about an individual to an unspecified large number of people. Come on, get real. Can't be defamation if the article hasn't run yet. Then consider it an advance on the compensation. This was so nonsensical that it made Minorukawa's head hurt. But now, at least he knew why Yanagashita had dived after the computer. The thief continued to weave his way through the side streets. His speed didn't diminish in the slightest. This guy has too much experience running away. Minorikawa's stamina began to fade, and finally, he lost sight of his quarry. But that didn't mean he was ready to give up the search. There were articles on that computer that were right on the verge of completion. Whatever it took, he had to get it back. Yanagashita had said he was going to sell it. Where could he be headed then? Knick-knack shop, for sure. Probably headed to that knick-knack shop. Minorikawa recalled seeing one near the Burning Hammer demo site. He also recalled seeing the poster outside the place that read, "We buy computers at top prices." Damn, he's good. PC equals money? Darn. The guy had led him on a wild goose chase. That shop was surely where he was going to sell the laptop. Gulping a deep breath, he headed in that direction. There you are, Yanagashita! Minorikawa burst into the shop on center guy, an accusing finger pointing squarely at the thief. Listen! There's no way I'm buying a computer that doesn't have a power cable. Details. All you sell here is junk anyways. Yanagashita and the shopkeeper had gotten into an argument. Minorikawa recognized the shopkeeper. It was the guy he'd run into on the roadside earlier. That computer belongs to me, Minorikawa shouted as he marched up to them. Give it back. Yanagashita clutched the laptop to his chest. Nuh-uh, I need the money. Knock it off, you're acting like a child. Minorikawa tried to slap him out of his tantrum, but Yanagashita ducked to avoid the blow. Then, bizarrely, Yanagashita froze. A fierce gleam came to his eye. He broke into an incomprehensible stammer. That's it! Yanagashita snatched up a flyer that his gaze had fixed on. Iron stomach, huh? This right here is my little bluebird of happiness, he cried. You know what? You can have this. Yanagashita shoved the laptop into Minorikawa's arms. Haha! And welcome to it, you idiot. I don't need no worthless computer. You're the idiot, Buster. Minorikawa smacked Yanagashita right across the face. Ouch! Hitting him felt good. He decided to do it again. He drew back his arm to deliver another blow, but then someone else came into the shop. Yanagashita's eyes lit up when they saw who it was. Oh, my angel! Whatever is my darling Miku doing here? Miku stood in the doorway, on the verge of tears. Mr. Minorikawa, she began, her voice choked up. Miku? What's the matter? Is something wrong? Miku drew in close to Minorikawa's side. Huh? Yanagashita's gaze darted back and forth between Minorikawa and Miku. You two know each other? Sort of. More to the point. Is she the girl you said you were in love with? That's right, the one and only Miku. I have her entrance music set as my ringtone. Paying no heed to Yanagashita's excitement, Miku kept her eyes fixed on Minorikawa. I lost. To a girl who knows Aki Jujitsu. I lost! She buried her face into Minorikawa's chest. Yanagashita let out a gasp. What's this about? What is this all about? He seemed on the verge of panic. Mr. Minorikawa, I need to learn Aki Jujitsu. I feel so ashamed. She buried her face even deeper in Minorikawa's chest. That's so unfair! With tears in his eyes, Yanagashita darted out of the door. Minorikawa glared after the pathetic fellow as he scampered off. That guy sure knows how to take advantage of a bad situation, I'll give him that, he murmured. Can't let him get away. I'm gonna catch him and hand it over to the police. Anyhow, I'm just glad I got my partner back. Ordinarily, he'd be inclined to pursue Yanagashita and subject him to a tirade. At the very least, there was no time for that now. Explained the situation to the shopkeeper, who flashed a sympathetic smile. How's that so? Lucky for you, he screwed up then. Much as I am happy to do business. I just can't buy a computer that doesn't come with its accessories. So you would have bought it from him if he had the accessories, of course. Stolen or not, it's all the same once you've sold it. The shopkeeper chuckled unapologetically. Well, I suppose that's true. Minorikawa laughed along with him. Yeah, all the same. Like hell it is, he roared. The shopkeeper froze like a startled rabbit. I bet everything you have for sale here has been stolen, hasn't it? Oh, don't be ridiculous. I'll warn you up front. There's no use hiding things from me. I've interviewed you, after all. I know you. The shopkeeper was getting more and more flustered. Well, I mean, look, this is just between you and me. Sometimes I go around gathering stuff that people have lost and I sell it here. It's not stolen, it's just repurposed. There's nothing wrong with that, right? The shopkeeper smiled ingratiatingly. You moron! Minorikawa stuck his finger in the man's face. Selling lost property is a serious crime too. A potential violation of Article 254 of the Penal Code of Japan regarding embezzlement of lost property, which states a person who embezzles lost property, drift property, or any other property which belongs to another person and is in no one's possession shall be punished by imprisonment with work for not more than 1 year, a fine of not more than 100,000 yen, or a petty fine. It is? Well, I mean, I guess I sort of figured it might be sometimes. Well, I'm not the police. I'm more into curiosity than legality. In fact, I find this all pretty fascinating. I mean, what sort of things have you gathered up for sale? Well, let me see, like this and that and that and that. The man pointed to various items on the shelves. Oh, and there's also this and that and that and that, I guess. Minorikawa's eyes were directed all over the shop. Everything the shopkeeper had pointed out had a hefty price tag. And you're actually able to sell things like these? Minorikawa asked. Sure, I can sell stuff. Earlier today, someone bought a big necklace. I listed it for 40,000 yen, but I discounted it down to 30,000 yen. And you still make a profit even offering discounts. Sure, I mean, it's just something I found lying on the ground after all. Minorikawa looked back at him, and for a moment he laughed as well. Then his face turned hard. This is no laughing matter, he bellowed. You need to stop what you're doing right here and right away. Otherwise, you're gonna find out what it's like to get punished by my pen of justice. That's what I call it as well. I'm so sorry. The shopkeeper bowed repeatedly. Minorikawa glared. The truth was that right now he was so busy that he would have to let this guy slide. Still, this whole asinine affair had eaten up a big chunk of time, and he didn't have to waste. Going to have to go finish up his copy at the editing office. Laptop in hand, he left the shop only to stop short when a slight figure stepped out in front of him. Mr. Minorikawa. Miku stood there, barring his path. Please introduce me to a dojo where I can learn Aki Jiu-Jitsu. I'm sorry, I really don't have time for this right now. Minorikawa tried to hurry onward, but she stubbornly refused to let him pass. You introduced me to that other dojo before, remember? I suppose so, now that you mention it. He tried to slip by her on her right-hand side, but she was quick to block him. You're the one who introduced me to the world of martial arts, Mr. Minorikawa. Well, yes, you know you're putting me in a bit of a bind here. Trying to slip by on her left side was a no-go too. She could anticipate his every move. Please, just hear me out. She was speaking through quiet sobs now. I can't stand to leave things like this. She looked Minorikawa right in the eye. I'm sorry? You'll just have to persevere until you're able to win again. This is a good opportunity for you. You can find something to do with yourself that isn't martial arts. I'm sorry, but I really don't have the time to have this discussion right now. It's a good opportunity for you, blah, blah, blah. What? You were the champion at that one pub, right? Maybe now that you're done with that, you should find a more girlish line of work instead. Miku began to tremble. You jerk! Miku delivered a blindingly fast slap to Minorikawa's cheek. Why'd you have to put it like that? You're so mean! Bursting into tears, Miku ran off. Hey, Miku! Gave no sign. She heard him and didn't turn around. Minorikawa rubbed his cheek. It stung. For once, he actually regretted what he said. Maybe he shouldn't have assumed she'd be willing to just give up her hobby. He did, in fact, know of several Aki Jiu-Jitsu dojos. If only he had the time, he could have introduced her easily enough. Checking his watch, he saw that he only had 30 minutes and change until 4 o'clock. There was no more wiggle room at this point. These articles needed to get written in fast. He needed to get back to the editing department, and yet, oh, darn it all to hell, I can't get work done like this. Minorikawa broke into a run. But he didn't run for having publishing. Instead, he went after Miku. Maybe that was the right answer. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. What I do know, though, is that we're going to call it there for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget, we have another stream in 2 hours. We're going to be playing Misadventures of Tron Bon. So tune into that if you're interested. And if not, thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time.